One West, y'all. I'm Shy XL, man. And let me tell you something. We different over here. We big steppers. Let's go.
Go get a big stepper. Hard body, One West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas. Certified One West hitters, whoa. Go get a big stepper. Hard body, One West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas. Certified One West hitters, whoa. Yo, what you say? No, we don't play you out your mind. Watch what you say, that type of shit could get you lined. And if you search, then let me tell you what you'll find. The city is mine. Just a mud who became the pick of the litter. Now my name ring bells when you talk heavy hitters. Nice nigga, but don't make me transform like Thriller. Sam Cooke a nigga beat like I was born by the river. Go get her, you piss her, you get off of the shitter. Can't put you in the spotlight, you niggas are with her. Keep an eye open round for any nigga that slither. Cause it ain't no sunshine here like Bill Withers, whoa. Fuck you know about this life I live. How you gon' talk to me like I ain't lose no rib? Like I ain't lose no crib, ain't lose no kid. Ain't sleep in my car and I ain't lose no gig. Shit, I never gave an order that I ain't did. And I ain't never take a fucking thing that I wouldn't give. Always kept it a bill, homie, I ain't fib. And if I had to go sit, then I just do my bid. Yo, my whole team full of steel beams we can't fold. Your whole circle full of some squares you can't roll. That's why we always take it to levels you can't go. Talk shit, but you can see me with these hands though. If looks to kill like Cyclops, these niggas wanna see me in Pine Box. Know that on my watch, got a better chance to rewind clocks when you quit, nigga, when time stops, bitch. Go get a big stepper. Hard body, One West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas. Certified One West hitters, whoa. Go get a big stepper. Hard body, One West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas. Certified One West hitters, whoa.
This flow is award-winning. Torment him, bomb to death, I'm bored with him. Trash him, throw him away with the has-beens. Ice cold with the flow, I'm Alaskan. You was in the fucking jungle in the past tense. I be with the lions, they my friends, Carol Baskin. And like her, they'll never find a body. Tiger stripe tracksuit, feeling like Joe Exotic. Shit, I don't know what it is, but I know I got it. Feeling like Alonzo, surgical with the shotty. All you see is skull and bones, Illuminati. Probably, I be the illest nigga to do it. I just talk shit on the beat and they call it music. I just come provide you with heat, remain the coolest. You ain't never been in the street with all the shooters. I was sipping yak with rioters and looters. Gotta keep my boots laid, shoot straight. Run up on you with the deuce 8 in a screw face. It's bad out here, my style effortless. 2 hands hugging a Ruger, so affectionate. Lot of suckers don't want war, I'm respecting it. Biggest stepper, snatch your plate, the hood starving. Cause they got beard shoe trays like James Harden. Straight from NY to Philly, we still mobbing.
Go get a big stepper. Hard body, One West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas. Certified One West hitters, whoa. Go get a big stepper. Hard body, One West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas. Certified One West hitters, whoa. 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 Whoa.
One West, y'all. I'm Shy XL, man. And let me tell you something. We different over here. We big steppers. Let's go.
Go get a big stepper. Hard body, One West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas. Certified One West hitters, whoa. Go get a big stepper. Hard body, One West rapper. Put on for my king, my niggas. Certified One West hitters, whoa. Yo, what you say? No, we don't play you out your mind. Watch what you say, that type of shit could get you lined. And if you search, then let me tell you what you'll find. The city is mine. Just a mud Who became the pick of the litter? Now my name ring bells when you talk heavy hitters. Nice nigga, but don't make me transform like Thriller. Sam Cooke a nigga beat like I was born by the river. Go get her, you piss her, you get off of the shitter. Can't put you in the spotlight, you niggas are with her. Keep an eye open around for any nigga that slither. Cause it ain't no sunshine here like Bill Withers. Whoa, fuck you know about this life I live. How you gon' talk to me like I ain't lose no rib? Like I ain't lose no crib, ain't lose no kid. Ain't sleep in my car and I ain't lose no gig. Shit, I never gave an order that I ain't did. And I ain't never take a fucking thing that I wouldn't give. Always kept it a bill, homie, I ain't fib. And if I had to go sit.
Ooh, 27 Club.
All right, gang, let's really nail it this time. Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hillstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hillstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Florida Lee on my top, this a Saints hat. This the third can't be been in here, J-Cat. Nigga tryna steal the sauce, yeah, I hate that. But I ain't make the rules, I can't change that. New bottle, new wine, yeah, I can't crack. Look, flag on the play, they grabbing face masks. Niggas always saving hoes where your cape at. The only killer that you know without no face tag. Hell yeah, my bitch bad, Proverbs 31, yeah. This is not a drill, I be 30'd up, yeah. He about to crack the sky, you better hurry up. It's all bad when you see us hang that jersey up. It's mad brick, I got the blick with my cover on. He a fed, he a op, got his cover blown. Look, I'm really outside without no scully on. It's 1 West, bitch, I'm on with my brothers on. He got ranked, then he left, he broke another oath. I got the plate, we about to take another zone. They was sleeping on the team, now they comatose. Left his brother out to dry, I guess he wanna fold. Put the oil on his head, that's another soul. I try to tell him we a pro, don't do this shit at home. She unhappy, left her man, she a 304. He try to justify that shit, he broke the penal code. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hillstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hillstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Gotta watch these niggas, they be cointel. Lil' bro ain't never killed nobody, but I know he will. It's on me, yeah, where I go, yeah, that's the holy seal. My niggas itching when it's up, you better not touch a chair. Ooh, I'm with the extra, that's off the back. He ain't loyal to his brothers, how you follow that? She either working with her hands or she off her bag. Broke bitches, yeah, they done that, give me a heart attack. You see the banner, but my head, I'm a part of that. These niggas cowards, pussies, we don't want no parts in that. They let our warrior out of prison, he ain't going back. And don't be speaking on the truth, cause we with all of that. Look, before they started dissing, they was fans first. You will never catch me digging in no man purse. Really put my brick in, that's why my hands hurt. And don't be speaking bullshit, that make my head hurt. Look, I done burnt my fingers from the Michael Drake. For the brotherhood, I done threw my life away. I never see him, tell him come out from their hiding place. We can't do it, we told them we gon' find a way. They rather march 1,000 deep, we rather feed the people. They wouldn't put on all black, now he reading Hebrew. UPK the standard if you speak on Hebrew. Don't think they solid, get with them niggas just gon' leave you. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hillstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship. Been in this shit for some years, I ain't never left. Nigga try to save his life like he's scared of death. I got Hillstar on my body, bitch, I'm heaven sent. Hey, this UPK ain't nothing, we on fellowship.
Y'all ain't ready yet, man. Here it come right now, prepare yourself. Here comes the boom!
Here come the boom. Look who just stepped in the room. Got soldiers in every direction. As long as they steppin' in tune. I be in all black with the groom. Watching Babylon fall to doom. Lord, know I'm ready, and I know that you know that her love is deadly, but I am immune. These niggas talking rude to whom? That's a spot, you'll be moving soon, and you'll be leaving shortly. Still walking with them angels, yeah, they still enforce me. Got a whole lot of zeal, I can't get it off me. Plus I'm winning like I got a blue ribbon on me. He ain't one what, bitch, I'm begging pardon. slumber party. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. If it ain't one West nigga, hush. I don't wanna hear it, keep your tone down. Had a couple complications, but it's on now. So you can kill it, speculation, bitch, I'm thrown down. And if you want a conversation, set his zone down. What he say, I ain't hear him, I done zoned down. Can't walk, this a low mouth. I'm 44, I'm on another level with it. These niggas never listen, so I let the devil get his ass. I try to tell him, I'm a rebel nigga. Better be careful if you ever think I'm stepping in my path. Cause it ain't no game. Stay in your lane, now I'm playing twisted metal with his ass. Got it out the gut. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. Revenge to my main bitch, I think I got a crush. And she know that I got some sick shit inside me. Bitch, you know it's UPK versus everybody. Got the side, move the buttons like he Teddy Riley. Now I'ma race through the track like a Ricky Bobby. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. Gotta keep it with me, it's a must. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. If it ain't one West nigga, hot.
You heard what he said. If they want West nigga hush, watch your goddamn mouth, man. We ain't the same. We not the same. We'll never be the same. We react different. We live different. And we're gonna keep on pushing this truth until your house shall return, sucker. And y'all niggas out there, y'all lukewarm. Y'all can never be us. Cause we hot. Burning hot. Let's get it. Y'all ain't ready yet, man. Here it come right now. Prepare yourself. Here comes the boom.
Here come the boom. Look who just stepped in the room. Got soldiers in every direction. As long as they stepping in tune. I been all black with the groom. Watching Babylon fall to doom. Lord, know I'm ready, and I know that you know that her love is deadly, but I am immune. These niggas talking rude to whom? That's a spot, you'll be moving soon, and you'll be leaving shortly. Still walking with them angels, yeah, they still enforcement. Got a whole lot of zeal, I can't get it off me. Plus I'm winning like I got a blue ribbon on me. He ain't one what, bitch, I'm big important. See, I knew these niggas like to do that pillow talking, so that's why I bought a Glock to the slumber party. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. If it ain't one West nigga, hush. I don't wanna hear it, keep your tone down. Had a couple complications, but it's on now. So you can kill it, speculation, bitch, I'm thrown down. And if you want a conversation, set his zone down. What he say, I ain't hear him, I done zoned down. Can't walk, this a low mouth. I'm 44, I'm on another level with it. These niggas never listen, so I let the devil get his ass. I try to tell him, I'm a rebel nigga. Better be careful if you ever think I'm stepping in my path. Cause it ain't no game. Stay in your lane, now I'm playing twisted metal with his ass. Got it out the gut. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. Revenge to my main bitch, I think I got a crush. And she know that I got some sick shit inside me. Bitch, you know it's UPK versus everybody. Got the side, move the buttons like he Teddy Riley. Now I'ma race through the track like a Ricky Bobby. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. Gotta keep it with me, it's a must. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. If it ain't one West nigga, hot.
You heard what he said. If they want West nigga hush, watch your goddamn mouth, man. We ain't the same. We not the same. We'll never be the same. We react different. We live different. And we're gonna keep on pushing this truth until your house shall return, sucker. And y'all niggas out there, y'all lukewarm. Y'all can never be us. Cause we hot. Burning hot. Let's get it. Y'all ain't ready yet, man. Here it come right now. Prepare yourself. Here comes the boom.
Here come the boom.
Look who just stepped in the room. Got soldiers in every direction. As long as they stepping in tune. I be in all black with the groom. Watching Babylon fall to doom. Lord, know I'm ready, and I know that you know that her love is deadly, but I am immune. These niggas talking rude to whom? That's a spot, you'll be moving soon, and you'll be leaving shortly. Still walking with them angels, yeah, they still enforce me. Got a whole lot of zeal, I can't get it off me. Plus I'm winning like I got a blue ribbon on me. He ain't one what, bitch, I beg your pardon. See, I knew these niggas like to do that pillow talking, so that's why I bought a Glock to the slumber party. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. If it ain't one West, nigga, hush. I don't wanna hear it, keep the tone down. Had a couple complications, but it's on now. So you can kill it, speculation, bitch, I'm thrown down. And if you want a conversation, set his zone down. What he say, I ain't hear him, I done zoned down. Can't walk, this a low mile. I'm 44, I'm on another level with it. These niggas never listen, so I let the devil get it down. I try to tell him, I'm a rebel nigga. Better be careful if you ever think I'm stepping in my pound. Cause it ain't no game. Stay in your lane, now I'm playing twisted metal with his ass. Got it out the gut. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. Revenge to my main bitch, I think I got a crush. And she know that I got some sick shit inside me. But you know it's UPK versus everybody. Got the side, move the buttons like he Teddy Riley. Now my race through the track like a Ricky Bobby. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. Gotta keep it with me, it's a must. Got it out the dust. I just began to it pretty much. That brotherhood of weapon, gotta keep it in the clutch. If it ain't one West, nigga, hot. You heard what he said. If it ain't one West, nigga, hot. Watch your goddamn mouth, man. We ain't the same. We not the same. We'll never be the same. We react.
No, we go to ground.
Let's take it to the concrete real quick. Let's take it back to the bricks.
You know when they come up.
You know what we do. We represent for our niggas, man. Our niggas, let's go.
Already was born ready. I'm more ready. I'm saying this now, making sure that the more ready. Yeah. We got some drop-offs, battle formation, I'm waiting for you to pop off. Right after you make your first move, get your rocks off. Next thing you'll head to the dirt, we are not soft. I took a loss, but nah, I ain't panicking. I be making moves, you staying still like a mannequin. Think you got the force, but shit, I'm feeling like Anakin. Hit the chick with the lightsaber, might save her. Doing moves tight major with light paper. And H-Town on them blades like an ice skater. Yeah. At that one West Passover, sit down, take a seat to the class over. Far from sober, but I ain't puffin' on Doja. Bartender, bring me tequila. Hold the soda, shit. Hold the ice too, flood it like a typhoon. We can get 6 shooters, 10 paces, high noon. We have Player Street, all-star studded like it's all-star weekend with all my brothers. Ain't nobody fucking round with my niggas. You know who I go to ground with, my niggas. You know when they come around, if they wanna clown, then we gun them down for my niggas. Ain't nobody fucking round with my niggas. You know who I go to ground with, my niggas. You know when they come around, if they wanna clown, then we gun them down for my niggas. Ride for my, die for my niggas. Make sure me and the squad solidified. I'm down to ride, go to war like I did the job. You niggas whores, I'm the ball, plus I been a vibe. You can't feel me, unless you sip 100 proof. I got 100 soldiers with me, that's 200 boots. We get to stomping like a Kappa or a Q. But don't mistake me for no rapper, I'm the Jew. The streets cold, so I throw on the cover. You a bitch, don't get mad at me, get mad at your mother. Put my life on the line like I got me another, yeah. Shit, it's like I'm on another level here. You second tier, I'm pulling guns, that's on Metal Gear. It's hell out here, but shit, I die heavenly. AK equipped with the drum, it holds 70. Twin revolvers,
All right, now we should be good to go. All right, there we go. All right. Shalom, Israel. Y'all about send me outside, thumb to the brothers. Y'all with Shamar Latam about send me outside to the sisters. We are the UPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, established in 1969, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are led by Commanding General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other organization. We need to make that part very clear, because there's a lot of people out there that do a lot of very weird things that are not supported in the scriptures. So now it's very important to keep to establish a difference between us. Yahushua and the disciples did it. You know, other brothers, I'm sure, and well, for those who might not be familiar with the story, well, let's just pull it up. Let's just pull it up real quick, like. For a long time, we used to have this in the beginning of all of our videos, because it did just that. It established a difference and letting people know that we are on purpose. We are purposefully making a difference between us and them. Let's see if I can share this. Shout out to Rapid City. Let's do a roll call real quick. See who's all in the building. We got 10 people right now. I know a couple people may have dropped off. No sweat. We got the brother Trooper Ragaz Salamar from Rapid City. This laptop is moving slow. There we go. And it went right back up. All right. We got the sister Nazam in Louisiana. Shout out to Priest and Austin 5000 Bar. America is burning. I like that name. I think that is a very fitting name for the temperature, for the atmosphere that we're dealing with out here. America is burning. Shalom. Yahba Shem Yahshua Barakatah. Brother sent the salute out to the sisters. What else we got in here? Rapid City, we got Trooper Yahwar. Where is it? Sorry, I feel like I skipped it. There we go, doing this in rank order. There we go. Got the brother Trooper Yahwar, Rapid City. We got young man Keto, Shalom Art. Got the sister Shanae from Rapid City. Shalom, sis. All right. Looks like that catches us all up. America is burning. Hey, to the brother, America is burning. Where you from, huh? If the brother's still on. All right. Get this other page shared. Because the next question is going to be, what school are you closest to? All right, so Acts chapter 19, verse 15. Through 17. Acts chapter 19, verses 15 through 17. And the evil spirit answered and said, Yahushua I know, and Paul I know, but who are ye? So this is the story of, there was some brothers trying to perform an exorcism on a man that had some demons on him. This cat was living like off in the mountains, off in the cut, in the cave, just consumed by his demons. Very violent, a lot of outbursts. And some brothers took it upon themselves without the authority. They were doing it in Christ's name, but without the authority. They went up and they tried to perform this exorcism on the man. And it backfired horribly. Blood everywhere. But this person, this cat who had the demon on him, he ends up whooping everybody. Slack it. This laptop is just slow. Trying to get us caught up here. Let's maybe open up the rest of the page. I will be all right here. Verse 16, and the man in whom the evil spirit was leapt on them and overcame them and prevailed against them, so that they fled out of the house naked and wounded. You know, ripped their clothes up, bloodied and bruised, and sent them running. Verse 17, and this was known to all the Jews and Greeks also dwelling at Ephesus, and fear fell on them all, and the name of the Lord Yahushua was magnified. And that's kind of everybody's goal. Everybody thinks that they're doing this in Yahushua's name, throwing his name around without the authority to do so. They're not rolling with Christ. They're not sitting with him. They're not suffering with him, being poor with him, being homeless with him, traveling from city to city to city to city with him. All these different regions that they had to tackle, they weren't with him like that. They were doing their own thing. They had knowledge of the truth, of the law, of the covenants, of what constitutes a demon, and probably the knowledge of how to exercise that demon, right? Prayer, fasting. There were different things that you might burn or even eat, I think there was in some of the cases. But they couldn't apply it properly because they did not have the authority. No matter what tools you use, if God ain't with you, if the Most High is not with you, those tools just aren't going to work. They're not going to be effective. So that's something to keep in mind when you're out there playing games and thinking that you're doing everything in the Lord's name. You might be caught as a fraud. All right, so any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to ask in the chat. We'll start getting into law class. So now a lot of people, again, I go over this almost every time because it's one of the most common denominators is people's misconception of the contextual use of law, especially in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, nobody will bat an eye at it. If you stole something, there may have been a physical punishment to it. If you committed adultery, for example, you get stoned to death. There was no they would bring you before like the elders and before the judges and things like that, and there would be a trial. It wasn't just any old accusation was going to get you killed, but it was brutal and it was straight to it. They would get busy when they cast that judgment, when they made that call. That was it, and that was in the Old Testament under. It's like the Levitical priesthood under the law of Moses, which is the laws of God, just that Moses had written down and put into kind of the social standing. He was trying to govern a nation of people that was just coming out of captivity, coming out of oppression, under the law and rulership of Hamites, of Egyptians. So whether their judgment was just, whether it was accurate, whether it was fair, or whether it was, selfish and abusive, they had to suffer that for the good and the bad. And remember, when they were coming out of Egypt, they wanted to go back because of the hardships they had to live by on their own without all the amenities of a roof over your head, of food in the market. They had access to controlled substances. No different than what we experience in America and abroad. For our brothers and sisters that are scattered in North, Central, South America, all over the Eastern Hemisphere. There's some brothers out that woke up in on the continent of Africa. I can't remember where they said it. I can't remember if it was South Africa or if they were in Western Africa. But there's brothers in Europe. We got the school out there too. So it's not like when we talk about the 12 tribes, it's just pinpointing who we got over here. But these are the common identity markers that you're going to associate with pretty easily in the Western Hemisphere. The Cubans, Chileans, Guatemalans, Nicaraguans, North Native American Indians, so on and so forth. But they had to suffer whatever was being, however the judgment was being delegated under their oppression. And that's something that we're trading when we separate ourselves from our culture and disobey our laws, disobey our power. We're gonna that our power, and we can go through this also. Our power will take his hedge of protection off of us and leave us to the mercy of very cruel people. And that's something that we're experiencing right now. We are at the mercy of a cruel bastard. So let's pull up a couple of these. So like it, bear with me. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna pull up, and you know what? So like, let me get these TVs on. So like, get a little color going on here. What's that happening? Maybe that's not what we want to do right now. All right. At least we'll get this on. All right. So we got Hebrews chapter 10. In Hebrew chapter 10, verse, let's start at 26. Actually, also, we're going to get, just so that we're clear, the definition of sin. It should be common sense, but a lot of people still kind of struggle with that concept. You'll hear some pretty colorful definitions, opinions that try to sound very philosophical, when sin is pretty straightforward. We can find that in 1 John chapter 1, verses 3. It's like 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. All right, 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. That is very simple, very basic. So now that we are under grace, because again, our sacrifices were of no use anymore, because we would get everything ready. We would we would almost plan a day of it, because we would set ourselves up for that. When we sin, we got the sacrifice to pay for it right away. If we steal something, we got the money to pay for it right away. So who cares if you steal it, right? Because you're just going to pay it off anyway. And you'll make them whole. You'll pay back the 5 times, whatever it takes, blah, blah, blah. But, people start, getting a little brazen with it. And made it so that, that covenant that we were holding on to, that kept us alive, that we won wars by, what, again, separated us from the other nations, from all the heathens. We tore down that covenant, and we became just like everybody else. We became victim to all these different world powers, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Greeks and the Romans, the Americans, all because it was, better for us in those moments to, experience that instant gratification. A lot of it is just pleasure seeking. Most of the issue wouldn't have been, just because in the Old Testament, you don't hear too often about any discrepancies on them eating unclean foods collectively. Could there have been, some people here and there eating, swine, or feeling so hungry they had to go, hunt some rabbits, trap some squirrels or something like that, some rats, some unclean seafoods? Maybe. We just don't really have records of that, because the main focus was on the big shit that we were doing. Brothers were committing adultery. That was probably one of the biggest problems that we had as a nation. Adultery. Sons sleeping with their father's wives, brothers sleeping with their brothers' wives. You also had instances of assault. And that is not something that the Lord abides. We do not violate men, women, and children. These other nations, that's just how they get down. It's almost second nature to them because they don't have a law to live by. They've got like a criminal justice system, but that's not going to stop them from living an alternative lifestyle. That's not going to stop them from changing their genders or sexual identities. That's not going to stop them from doing drugs. It's not going to stop them from eating unclean foods, from idol worship. But that there's common ground among pretty much all cultures of it's just mutually beneficial to not have people stealing, to not have people unalived unjustly, to not have people messing with each other's families. These are all things that as men and in different various communities we kind of all have in common because of the emotions that can stir up and the consequences that can shortly follow. We're quick to anger. Just as we are today, we same kind of atmosphere back then. Milwaukee, for example, is a very angry city. Very angry, very immature at times. It's very selfish, very impulsive. A lot of our cities are like this. A lot of the inner cities are like this. You'll see in the suburbs, it's a little quieter. It's a little slower. It's a little more calmed down. It's a little more subtle because they won their war. They won their war to the tune of, hundreds of millions perishing so that they could live comfortably because they wanted that for their children. The heathens that came over here, the criminals that they were, living a life, as an outlaw. They've experienced enough danger and excitement. Their tribes also in their own countries. You had a lot of warring faction amongst the Germanic tribes, the Saxons. Who else is out there? The Celts, the Nordic, I think would be the right term. The Britain, the French, the British, I should say, the French, the Spaniards, the Portuguese, the Dutch. The list goes on and on about the different family groups that they had and all the warring factions that internal wars that they had fought as a people, as separate countries. We had undergone, some similar instances too. There was a little issue with Benjamin. A little issue with Benjamin that caused some division and had the whole nation fell on Benjamin. I think with them, it was adultery that was the main adultery, and I think grape. I think they were out there going wild with it, man. Knowing what the law was, but just again saying the hell with it. We, becoming a lawless people. Benjamin, at least that family out of it, the whole nation of Benjamin. Hard to say that, but the whole nation of Israel went to war with them, shut them down, not to the last man, but destabilized their foothold, their power, their structure, and then they had to re-straighten everything up. So we've definitely experienced, maybe not a lot of internal wars, but even David had to, put his foot down and settle it. And then we had a unified kingdom under Solomon. But then Solomon, again, because the women had went off, transgressed the law, that split the kingdom again. north and south. Judah, Benjamin, and a portion of Levi, and the other portion of Levi with the other 9 tribes. All right, Romans chapter 6. We're going to get a few of these lined up. Romans 6. We got 1 John chapter 3. We got Acts chapter 19. We might have to spend some time in and I think the book of Romans. Paul, as much as people don't like Paul for the confusion that he causes many people, because they just can't grasp that different audiences that he was talking to, he had a different approach with them. So they think in their confusion, they think that there are contradictions in what Paul's message is. And of course, that's ridiculous, because Paul was a very loyal brother. He was loyal to the order that he came from with the Pharisees, and he was very loyal to the brothers that he was with when he came into the truth. But he's not going to jeopardize the integrity of the reputation of Israel, the reputation of Yahushua, for the sacrifice that he had made. He's not going to jeopardize that by squandering the truth so that people can now eat unclean foods. And it doesn't make any sense. And again, that's normally, especially when you talk to Christians. I've never had a conversation with a Christian where it didn't usually kind of go down this path. When we're talking about the law, it's kind of one of two different angles that they try to play. One, that the law is dead, it's done away with, but they're talking about the punishments that come with the law. Try to get some of these verses. They think that we're talking about the punishments, strictly the punishments that are associated with breaking the law. Now, in Yahushua's time, like he had told that one woman who had committed adultery, when they brought her, they didn't bring the man. That was supposed to be part of that case as well. They didn't bring the man, but they did bring the woman. And he told her to, go and sin no more. So now there wasn't like a monetary penalty for committing adultery. That it wasn't, that kind of offense. In today's government, there probably would be. Or pretty much everything else, like there might be some restitution that you got to pay. Court costs and all that stuff. The lawyer fees, what have you, whatever fines, the tickets that get taxed onto it. Especially in our culture, you were never supposed to just be able to buy your way out of it. The point was, if you made a mistake, there's consequences for your actions, learn from it, do better. But there are some things that you can do that you can't just apologize for. There are lines that if you cross, and again, we can see this expressed today in a carnal manner when they take that law unto themselves, if they get violated to a certain degree. Even between men, if you were to steal from one another, normally that doesn't always equate to your house getting shot up, or your grandmother's house getting shot up, or your baby mama's house getting shot up, or your brother's house getting shot up. It always ends up kind of going down that road to some of the extremes. Normally, I mean, you throw the fair one, win or lose, you move on from there. Okay. Pay the brother back. He gets his property back. Maybe he taxes you a little bit. Now in Israel, we had that concept as well. If you stole something, I believe, save for starvation. If you're stealing, from the market or from an individual who has, some of the stuff that you're looking for, because your family is starving or because you're starving, there's a different consideration that gets taken into. About to just use the same word over and over. There's a different consideration applied to it because of the motive behind it. But if you're just stealing just to steal because you're coveting, something that your neighbor has, or you're being cheap about it, or like maybe you just don't have the money for it, but you just really, really wanted it. Your life doesn't depend on it. But this hat or these shoes or these pants are just they're too damn cool to miss the opportunity. If all you got to do is sneak inside and steal it. Some people just can't leave their hands to themselves. But there's a restitution applied to it that you can see some of these in Leviticus. All right, so Exodus chapter 22 and 1, it looks like. Share this tab just so we can all read along. They say we're saved by grace. Who do we got? Salakia. Got a couple other people had joined the room. All right, David Coronado from Beaver Dam. Shalom. QS Food Review. The difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. Absolutely. We'll explain the difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. They say they're saved by grace. UPK Adam, Shalom from Greenville, South Carolina. Shalom Akim, welcome to the class. So yeah, the difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law is I guess kind of what we're getting into in a sense. This is an example of the letter of the law in Exodus. Exodus chapter 22, verse 1. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. There was that monetary value to it. Well, I guess value, not necessarily monetary, but there's a value system that's applied to it. For the offense, for the they may have gone weeks without it. That might have been their only source of income. If they were to sell that sheep or that ox or that goat or that lamb or that whatever have you, that you stolen from them. You know, say you had gotten away with it for a week, for a month. Maybe they had some bills that were lined up, that were due, past due. They're getting all the letters, and all the creditors, all the debtors are coming to their door trying to figure out where their money is. And you stole what they would have used to pay that back. So even if it's just for an inconvenience cost, you got to pay back, you know, you got to restore that single item that you had taken plus some. Now, what Christ had taught us with the spirit of the law, yeah, we might have to take a day to just spend some time in Romans. The purpose of the law, that might be something that we want to understand. What was the purpose of the law? For the brother QS Food Review. The purpose of the law. Because what the other brother, David Coronado, was saying, they say they're saved by grace. That's true to an extent, because that grace is just what we are responsible to do amongst each other, as far as, because even in captivity, we still had, you know, the elders, you still had the Sadducees and Pharisees who would have delegated the law. But again, they were more after the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. They were more about putting people to death, you know, for the things that would have traditionally cost them their life had they violated. So by grace that Yahushua had given us, they're no longer able to authorize that judgment of punishment. Their life would be spared. Again, certain things, though, would get paid back. Again, like with the concept of stealing and things like that. It's not just that you get to steal stuff and then now, you know, you ain't got to pay nothing back. That would still be satisfying. But you're going to see how this grace is what had kept us from just killing each other left and right for the transgressions. And as we read in that story again with the adulterer or with the adulteress, he who is without sin cast the first stone. Nobody in that crowd would have been able to authorize that stone or that stone, which lets you know that everybody else out there had something hanging over their head too. And that's not too far-fetched when we look at the churches today and the people that are sitting in seats of authority just in America. You know, they, for whatever reason, they give you celebrities and entertainers and athletes because they have money and prestige and popularity. Somehow that gives them authority to make, you know, to make certain judgment calls when they are some of the most foolish people out there. How many celebrities, you know, have gone through drug rehabs, have got a mugshot out there during, you know, damn near during the height of their career. We're seeing with the Diddy parties, with the Epstein list, all these high-ranking people that are being exposed for some things that wouldn't be like civil law, breaking, you know, civil ordinances. A lot of it is sexual deviancy. But a lot of that sexual deviancy is would have been punishable by God. So now that grace that Yahushua afforded us that kept us from exacting those punishments against each other, that doesn't necessarily save you from the Most High. He might still put you to death for the things that you've done. We're under grace even now. And as wild as we are, you're not seeing some of the craziest people out there who is what's that brother named Tukey Williams, one of the founders of the Crips. You know, he just got released from jail. Who knows what? I don't know all the details of that man's life, but you know, he had built up a reputation over the years, and a lot of that had to do with violence and exploitation of his own people. But he's still alive. We're gonna get that scripture too about judgment kind of taking so long. Close Exodus. Shucks. Slack. I just closed the window that I didn't want to. We had Romans 6. We'll get Romans chapter 7, verse 14. That'll be one piece that we look at. I think that other scripture was Romans 6. And 20. Take a look at it. Okay. We get 2 Corinthians chapter 10. So we covered 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. And one that a lot of Christians, they complain that we use this too often because, again, they'll philosophize what God's expectation is of us. But when we show what the actual responsibility looks like, it causes problems. So 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. First John chapter 5, verse 3, for this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So that's one aspect of the spiritual side that we're going to talk about in a second here. Because let's get Paul, what Paul had said right away in Romans chapter 7. Where did I just have it? Romans chapter 7, verse 14. Romans chapter 7, verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Your carnality is the issue that he's talking about here. The law is spiritual because what is the law? The law is simply whether it's written down on the tablets, on paper, or if it's written down in your hearts like we had been taught in the New Testament. It's a codified set of rules. And in our case, it's something that defines our culture. It gives us boundaries. It gives us rules to live by, lines that you can and cannot cross without consequence. And it sets us apart from all the other nations. But there's no like this right here. This is a phone holder. Just a little, extended little case platform. I can't pick up a law the way that I can pick up this object. So we know law is not a physical thing. Get that verse again. We know the law is not going to be a physical thing. It's not something that you can physically touch, see, smell, taste, hear, whatever. It's something that it's taught to you. It's a philosophy. It's a thought. It's a belief. And according to some people that like to try to, number everything 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, some people will say, there's over 600 some odd laws. However many laws there are, nevertheless, there are laws to follow. But it's a spiritual endeavor that we take because, again, this is what separates us from all the other different nations, different people, the heathens, pagans, idol worship, everybody else's different customs. This is what keeps us set apart from them, is our laws. And that they are not grievous. Again, what we had read in 1 John chapter 5 and 3. This is how you show love to the Most High. There's a certain verse, Salakia. So real quick, I want to draw our attention to 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Share this portion of it. The focus is going to be 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 3 through 5. For we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. This is going to be going into how we combat oppression. How we combat our enemies who overpower us. Even though, and that almost might sound a contradiction in itself, because we're always going to talk about how special, how much physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, how much just more evolved, mature, and better that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are over all the other nations. So how could we be on the bottom of everything, of every social, economic society, if we're God's chosen people and we're supposed to be better than them? Because this is not a physical endeavor. Now, you're going to see aspects of it that manifest itself physically, But it all starts off spiritually. And this is going to be something to look at. Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. Verse 5. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Now, that's the important part that I want to focus on, verse 5. This isn't like the other one where I can just click on that. I gotta worry about that some other time. Oh, Slack, I don't know if that shared it. Verse 5, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. That's a very spiritual endeavor. No matter how to the T we push the letter of the law, even amongst ourselves, because we were the only ones that was given the law to follow, you shouldn't have any expectation for heathens or pagans to keep the same laws that we're bound by, because God only gave that to us. He only gave us that knowledge. But now, how do we apply this to temptation, to a lived experience, prior to coming into the truth? I'll just use myself for an example, because I pray nobody else had to go, too far in their carnality and experience too much. There's a lot of things out there that will bring you carnal pleasure, and especially in a society like this, pleasure is often conflated with good or positive or right. Victor, your confusion, that sounds like a you thing. I'm not sure how to help you with that other than staying in class. We got a customer service line if you'd like to call at 414-293-3869. You can speak to our customer service department about that specific issue. It's not, But appreciate you joining the class. While you're here, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It won't matter. Like, share, subscribe to all your conspiracy theorists, buddies, and your little smoking siphon circle. I don't know what to tell you. Damn, almost lost where I was going. All right, so how do we apply this? Casting down the imaginations. This is that spiritual endeavor that we're talking about. So keeping the law spiritually. When that thought pops into your head, that'd be a good one to go. Just like, let me take this off the screen. Thoughts themselves aren't sin, but when you've got thoughts and you're making plans based off of those thoughts, now you're crossing the line. Man, select. Keep on messing this up. There we go. This is going to be a good example of the spirit of the law. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Because again, the letter of the law is just what's, physically written down, and the punishments that are followed through with. So you got the letter of the law that says, thou shalt not steal. If you steal, X, Y, and Z is going to happen to you depending on what you stole and why. If you commit adultery, You got that written down. That's the letter of the law. That those people that are caught in adultery, they get stoned to death. That's following the letter of the law. So now, how do you keep the law spiritually? All right, you should be able to see that on the screen. Trooper Mashah, shout out to Florida. Trooper Mashah, Shalom. Oh, Salaki, I misread that. This is the rib of Trooper Mashah. Shout out to Trooper Mashah from Florida. Nonetheless, a shout out to his rib. Shalom, sis. Yahweh Shemal Ataba Shemi Yahweh Shai. All right, Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. Ye have heard that it was time, thou shalt not commit adultery. So that's the letter of the law. That's the letter of the law being expressed, being shared, being stated. But I say, verse 28, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now, it's like he says, I'm doing well. The water for asking. I think we're about to compete with Florida weather for a second there, but instead of peacocks all over the place, we got turkeys all over the place. So now it says here, whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after hath committed adultery in their heart. You can only commit adultery if that woman is married. If that's a single sister that's out on the streets and you looking at her and you catch yourself like, oh shit, like I don't know if she's single, if she's married, let me stop. That's catching yourself in the spirit of not transgressing all. You're thinking about it. Damn it. There's a whole pyramid, like hierarchy on how this goes, like your thoughts, beliefs, actions. I can't remember how that process gets broken down, but it's starting off with that thought. And spiritually, you're conditioning yourself to not act on that thought. You might be hungry and you might be going to the market and they might have all the food out there. And you might be thinking, all right, let me just grab this and then run. But you're conditioning yourself spiritually to keep the law. Because you could also ask that vendor, that merchant, if they could either come down on the price, would they mind doing you a favor? Maybe you can work something out, get them back the next time. They can help take up the trash. Maybe you can help clean up their booth area, sweep up a little something, haul some of the boxes, help them break down at the end of the night, help them set up at the next event, build a relationship. That way you're not embarrassing yourself too, because there's a level of pride and ego that gets damaged when you have to sneak and operate really low, when you got to be a low life to make your means, which is what Esau was cursed with, having to live, it's like, I'm paraphrasing, having to live off the dust of the ground. The way that he would survive, the way that he would maneuver, it was real low. It was real creeping. Esau is a very manipulative, very shameless individual. And that's how they built their kingdom. By not giving a shit. They may have made all these pacts and treaties and promises that they never had any intention of keeping, because, look at what they did with it. And what does the scripture say about them? Their words were smooth as butter, but war was in their hearts. That's what we've experienced from them. So we call the so-called white man the devil that the Bible speaks of. We've got proof of it right here in America, right here in Milwaukee. When we were in Detroit over the weekend, me and Kat with I don't want to LeBron and them, shout out to Detroit. when we were getting ready for camp that ended up getting rained out. That's the topic that I was going to look at, the condition of Detroit before and after integration, before and after civil rights era, and the different methodologies that were used to destroy, circumvent property, assets, finances for their own means. You know, how our oppressor had employed some dirty tactics, dirty tactics. If you look at the history of Detroit, how it was for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, because again, all of our communities were affected by them. And I'm sure other communities too. I'm sure East Indians had a hard time. I'm sure Asians had a hard time with it too. But there is a spiritual connection between Esau and us. Observing oneself, like the brother David Coronado, observing oneself by renewing yourself, cleansing yourself by the word through the law. That's a good approach to it. Meditating on the law too is what Yahweh Shai had said. Let's pull that scripture. You know, what's kind of crazy is I said Yahweh Shai. I was talking about Jesus because I believe Yahweh Shai had made mention of that. But the verse that it's initially bringing up is with Joshua, which is also Yahweh Shai. Not the same person as in like in the Old Testament, Joshua is the New Testament Jesus, but that name is the same. For anybody that may not have known that part, the name is the same. Let's just pull this verse real quick. Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. Share this tab. Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. So again, you using, I didn't want to say a metaphor here necessarily, but there is a book of the law. They had it written down. They had it organized. X, Y, and Z. This charge, this crime gets this penalty, so on and so forth. They had an organized book of the law. But he's saying, shall not depart out of thy mouth. You're not spitting, the physical pages out of your mouth. But the way that you can recite the book of the law. You can memorize, the whole thing. But just like how we are taught the law, nobody has to teach me about clean and unclean foods anymore. That's written in my heart. Nobody has to teach me about adultery being a sin or unaliving, which is, unjust. I got to be careful on the words that we say. Unjust unaliving. It begins with an M versus, just a K. Self-defense is not unjust unaliving. You also don't have to take it to certain extremes. There's a seasoning, a measure that is good enough to preserve your life without having to take the life of somebody else. If those conditions can be met, you might be in a situation where that is the only possible response to certain situations. So I don't want anybody out there to be a tyrant, to just go, deboing, life. But we don't raise any punks here in the UPK either. All right, so this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. So, like going to the brother David Coronado's point, observing oneself, renewing yourself, cleansing yourself by the word through the law, it's kind of that process. Meditation might look a little bit different to everybody. When I think about meditation, it's not just sitting there, cross legs, chanting all the laws, one by one, chanting the 10 commandments and all that, or reading through Exodus and Leviticus, what all the laws are. But, maybe studying the law, studying the law, so that we know what lines not to cross with each other. There are some things that you're going to do that are going to be direct offenses to the Most High. And there are some things that you're going to do that are going to be direct offenses to another brother or sister, or even to a heathen. You can commit a sin against the heathen. Like, you're not supposed to commit adultery on nobody. You're not supposed to interracially marry, but you're damn sure not supposed to commit adultery with another race of women. You know what I'm saying? So meditate on the law in that aspect too. For example, where is this? In Exodus, I believe, where it talks about I think Deuteronomy. Let's get this real quick. Thou shalt not give them thy daughters. Because when Adam and Eve was being thought of, in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3, and he closed up the flesh thereof, that was the cue to only deal within your tribe, your family, your nation of people, and not to interracially mix. So that I'll have to do. Share this page. Deuteronomy chapter 7. Come on. All right, there we go. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 3 and 4. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter shalt not, thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Now that does happen. That does happen. Mixing with other nations and then ended up reaping the consequences immediately. That can happen. And it doesn't have to be, drop of a dime in that very second, but it can. It can be literally that quick. Do not play with the Most High. This is a terrible power that we serve. We would rather have that terrible power on our side. Especially look at the world that we're living in right now. All the stress, all of the outward pressure, all of the financial pressure, the jobs, the schools, the relationships. There's enough going on out there. We don't need to compound it ourselves. Let's keep the Most High on our side by keeping to the laws and the culture that he had given us. It's not grievous. Listen. And again, I know because we've had certain lived experiences already, it can be hard to turn your back on something. It can be hard to renew yourself. It can be hard to cleanse yourself. It can be hard to observe where your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings are going to lead you. If you're not being conscious on, the offense that you're about to make. Who am I about to offend? What am I about to do that's going to offend them? These are some of the matters that we'll switch back to, where was that? In Joshua. Switch back to Joshua. These are some of the matters that you're going to want to meditate on when you're thinking about the law. So I can assist at a question. Bayana, Banyamyan. Salaki, sir, question. If a male or female, I'll put this on the screen. Salaki for not putting some of the other comments on the screen. Salaki. Salaki, sir. Question. If a male or female committed adultery in his heart, what does this do to the marriage? Or if the person are single? Just make sure I understand this. All right, so that can be pretty damaging to the relationship if you're in a marriage. More so on the female side. Because in our culture, men are permitted to have more than one wife. If that man commits adultery in his heart on another woman, that's really not going to affect his current rib. It's not like he's going to have a conversation with her about it. I mean, he might confide in her, but chances are that brother needs to go seek marriage counsel. Or, well, in this case, it would just kind of be counsel. The sister, on the other hand, that's going to be more of a marriage counsel issue. Because with that brother, that's not going to really diminish his duties for his woman. Because that could happen if he did get lawfully married to another woman anyway, where his eye, his attention, his energy might be more focused on that new rib, and his old rib, his first rib, may suffer a little bit of that. May feel, being ignored, or not getting enough attention, or not getting enough support around the house, emotionally, spiritually, financially. There's a couple different levels to it. But the way that we are affected by each other in some of these actions, it's going to be different sides of the fence. So if it's a man and he commits adultery in his heart against a married woman, that's really not going to affect their relationship too much, unless now he is just consumed with that lust. And that could take away his attention from the family and the wife that he does have, or the wives that he already has. Maybe he's already got 2 or 3 and he was looking to add on, 4 or 5, but those other women were married, and now he's fixated on, he's obsessing over the issue. So that could lead to time and attention being taken away from the women. And again, if this man follows through with it, which is the aspect that Yahushua was warning us about, because that should be the first red flag that goes off if you're thinking about it in a lustful manner. If you know that that's a married woman, if you know that that's a single woman, you're not committing adultery. And there's always going to be some measure of lust that you do feel towards the opposite sex, because that's just how we are. We're visual creatures, the majority of us. So, this isn't some shot at people that are visually impaired, but for the majority of human beings, we are visual creatures. You see something you like, it's on your mind. You want to get closer to it. Now you smell something you like. Now you get to speaking to them. Now you hear something you like. So on and so forth. Then you're exploring the sense of touch. Now you're feeling something you like. So that is definitely a danger that we can fall into as men when we're looking at women. So it's very important, and this would be kind of the spiritual side that Yahushua is expressing. Go find out if that's a married woman or not. Because the letter of the law says, thou shalt not commit adultery. And even though in Yahushua's time, he would not have allotted any men under his rank to select it. He wouldn't have allotted any man under his rank to carry out the execution of that person that committed adultery. But what to say about men and our jealousy? Things can turn up real quick. And next thing you know, that brother that you just offended is stalking you down. And it can come from anywhere. Listen, people get hit by buses, by cars. They fall into open manholes, sewer covers. They're falling off a cliff, falling down the stairs. The Lord can take you out in a million different ways. They had a show about it too, like 1,000 Ways to Die. The Lord will get creative with your ass if he needs to. You better mind yourself. So now on the other side of it, if it's a sister, this is where it's a little bit more direct. Because if a sister sees another man, she starts lusting after him. And again, a lot of this is going to be predicated on acting on those thoughts and feelings. Noticing another person that fits the physical qualities and characteristics that you like, that's not the same thing. Again, we're physical creatures. A sister will notice a man that is handsome to her. But now if she starts burning with desire and thinking, okay, how can I sneak away from home? How can I sneak away from my man and just happenstance put myself in a position where I'm closer to this person? Listen, you'll go and get a job at that person's place of employment. You'll go pick up classes. And if they go to school, they go to college, you'll go pick up a class that you don't need. Something that you're not even interested in doing. But it happens to match up the schedule. This brother might be, a robotics engineer. You don't know shit all about electricity. And now all of a sudden you're signing up, for physics and engineering and drafting, just so you be closer to that man. You haven't slept with that brother yet, but you are committing adultery in your heart because you're taking actionable steps away from your family, away from your husband, towards this man. So you see that difference between brothers and sisters. So now, of course, if the person is single, yeah, there's no line that's being crossed there. If on the man's side, if you're a sister and you are married, there's no wiggle room for that. Once your thoughts start going into, it doesn't even have to be obsessive, but once your thoughts start going into how unhappy you are with your husband, this house, these kids, sometimes it might even be the truth too. Your sister that was, and it's like I'm not saying this about you, sis, to the sister by now. I'm not saying this about you, just kind of a general statement. You may have been a sister that in the world, going out clubbing, loving the attention of all the men because you're a beautiful woman. You're getting all this attention, all these guys trying to buy you drinks, getting your pants, this, that, and the third. And all of a sudden you made a brother either prior to, or maybe he's already in the truth, or maybe you got with him beforehand, and then you saw his growth and he got into the truth and you stuck with him because you liked maybe you liked what it did for him. You didn't really believe in none of this stuff, but it made him a better person, made your family better. But now you're suffering different things. All the separation when the brothers got to go, to a completely different city. That's why I thought I said slacky. Brothers got to go to a completely different region for days and weeks on end. And, the bed's getting lonely. It's feeling colder. And you don't know how to cope in those situations. And this other brother who works with you, who catches the same bus with you, who at your favorite coffee shop when on your lunch break or something like that, this person's starting to look a little bit more appealing to you because you're suffering at home. So I think it's more dangerous for women because there's no wiggle room in getting another man without committing adultery. Yeah, you'd have to by default, but you can be a brother interested in another woman and not commit adultery if you follow through with that. So there are those differences. So listen, marriage counsel is a beautiful thing. Captain Debar Math of Milwaukee, your very own Captain Debar Math is an excellent marriage counselor. You got brothers with different skill set. I'm not a marriage counselor. I feel that I'd have some good advice for the situations, but Cap has got more experience, so that you definitely want to make sure that the people that you're going to are capable of understanding the situation, so that they can develop the solutions for you. Some people might not be able to relate to it at all. Cap's been through some shit. He's a smart brother. Life has taught him a lot. The Most High has taught him a lot, bestowed a lot of knowledge and wisdom on that brother. And if knowledge is the accumulation of information and wisdom is the application of that knowledge, Captain the Bar Mouth is definitely a brother you want to go to. Captain Desariat talks about it all the time. He counsels people that are in and outside of the school. So it's, whatever school, whatever zone you're in, as much as it might suck, because it's a lot of times it's not going to go in your favor. You might just be afraid of the outcome. And you don't want to hear, how you're wrong. That's something that, both men and women are never huge fans of, hearing about how wrong we were, how dumb and stupid we were, how aloof we had been in our dealings and approach to things. It's, we got these counselors out here for reasons. We got these schools built up all over the place for reasons. I remember a time when I first came into the school, there wasn't a Milwaukee. There was barely a Chicago. Yeah, Cap and them had just moved from the East Coast. There's a lot of brothers that were 10 years ago, in the last 10, 15 years is when we had seen like an exponential boom in the school of growth. You know what I'm saying? So don't go to work with this stuff. Don't ask your girlfriend, your single girlfriend who's got 3 different kids by 5 different men. I don't know how to do the math on that. That's just how they did it. That's what happened. That's probably not the best person to go to. Don't go to a brother who you see constantly jumping from woman to woman to woman to woman, getting to know them, having his way with them, and then just dumping them off on the side. That's more common with heathen practices, because again, they're not bound by that very sacred and solemn connection that we have with the Most High and our understanding of what a relationship entails. Sex is marriage according to the Bible, according to God. You cross that line, you are in the eyes of God, you are a married man and woman. And again, that would go for the heathens too. That's why you can't commit adultery with just anybody. Or so like that, maybe I said that wrong. You can't commit adultery with anybody, let alone heathens. I think Muslims, they got a philosophy of where if you're a heathen, you can sell them drugs. If you're a heathen, you can do certain things to them that you would not otherwise be able to do to a fellow Muslim. We don't have that hypocrisy. You cannot commit adultery across the board. You shouldn't be stealing from anybody. I don't care who, if it's a Fortune 500 company, Esau at work, Elam at work, Moab at work or at school, at the gym, in the neighborhood, at the bar, at the club, wherever. Don't do it. We got laws. We got a standard to maintain and keep. So again, going back to Joshua, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. This is the spiritual application, that meditation of it, contemplating the law, the different ways that you can offend that law. Lusting after a person isn't the only way that you could commit adultery. It doesn't just have to be limited to that. That thou mayst observe and do according to all that is written therein. So the action of it, that's the spiritual side of it too. It's not just knowing what the law is. The dietary law, for example. Everybody knows what the dietary law is. I've never met a person that doesn't know that in the Bible, it expressly says in 2 different places, it directly calls out pigs. It doesn't even mention shellfish, I don't think, anyway. Crustaceans, crab, lobster, things like that. But it did give us the outline on what clean seafood is. So now we got that written letter of the law. The spiritual aspect of the law is not doing it. It's following the law. So even under grace, because here's what Yahushua had said, what Paul had said. Is it Matthew? Well, actually, let's finish this verse in Matthew chapter 5. Because Yahushua said some heavy things too. And going back to the brother David's point about, cleaning yourself, correcting yourself. Verse 29. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. There, he's not saying to harm yourself. Just because your right eye, I mean, maybe you got a lazy eye and your left eye didn't see nothing, but your right eye saw that woman, that married woman, and that's what got you to lust after. It was that damn right eye of yours that couldn't keep, its hands to itself and looked in that direction. Your left eye was innocent, wandering around playing softball over here, but, the right eye, zoomed in on this target, and now you're in trouble. So now you got to cut your eye out. That's not what this is saying. I feel like I need to make that disclaimer in case somebody, has an issue one day, when they're walking down the street. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not the whole body should be cast into hell. And again, hell just being, in this case, more contextually, condition of anguish. But what was it saying? It is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and that not thy whole body should be cast into hell. So all that's talking about is, separating yourself from any of those obstacles, any of those temptations that might lead you down that path. So now, because again, a lot of times you might notice patterns in people's places and things, and you might try to set up your schedule in your life so that your paths cross. All right, so now stop going to a certain gym. Maybe that's where you're seeing this person that you're about to commit adultery with at the gym. I think that's a pretty commonplace, a generally accepted commonplace where we might see things like this happen. Stop going to that specific gym, especially if you're at a Planet Fitness. There's a million of them, all over the place. This one might be easier, but this one also comes with some temptation that's making it hard on you to maintain discipline. So now, all right, maybe it would be wise, it would be profitable for you to take that arduous journey across town instead. Keep your marriage, keep your family, keep your life intact. It'd be profitable. It would behoove you to take to exercise that wisdom, that knowledge of, all right, I'm having problems over at this gym. That's the information that you're gathering this whole time. I got problems over at this gym, especially between 3 and 5. Maybe if you go after 5 now, because maybe you've been there, you see them every day. It's been like, 3 months. Only this past week, though, did it start becoming an issue because, she started using the treadmill right in front of you or switched up her athletic gear. And now you're taking notice to it. That eye is starting to offend. Instead of going from 3 to 5, maybe go from 5:30 to 7:30. Maybe start a little bit earlier. Or again, maybe just take that trip to a different gym, different location, different gym membership. Maybe instead of Planet Fitness, maybe you got to go to, I don't know where some of the new ones are, Crunch or something. We got this one spot, really cool gym if you're ever in Milwaukee. It's called the Brickyard. Good old school spot, man. For people that like throwing mini cars around and shit like that, real manly shit. The Brickyard is definitely a good spot for you. But maybe you got to get a different membership at a completely different place. Maybe you don't go to lunch to this Starbucks. You're going to have to avoid people, places, and things is what that concept is talking about with, plucking your eye out. You're going to have to make some changes in your routine, make some changes throughout your day and your lifestyle that would help prevent some of those paths cross and so on. Who was the brother? Good Food? Is that Go Food? Salakia. Victor, I pray you get the help that you need. QS Food Review. Let me know if I had satisfied that that question that you had. The difference between the written law and the spiritual side of it. Oh, and actually that kind of goes again to what I was talking about with 2 Corinthians. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God. According to the knowledge of God, you can't eat certain foods. No smoking. No smoking cigarettes, no vaping, no smoking weed, no smoking crack, no smoking crystal meth, no smoking bed bugs. You'd almost think that we shouldn't have to have that conversation. And I don't think it's, too big or too much of a threat right now. But there was a time where you had to say, put those bed bugs down. People were smoking bed bugs. That's one of those wicked imaginations that goes against the letter of the law. How do you follow that spiritually? God damn it, you don't do it. And you get yourself some better friends. Get yourself a better living situation. Probably would be the first go-to in that specific case. If you're tempted, if you got all these bed bugs around you and you just can't stop packing your pipe with them, you might want to seek professional extermination help for that issue. But all these imaginations, all these different philosophies and ideologies running rampant around us create stumbling blocks. And sometimes we can end up, becoming a stumbling block, to our own people. You can be over righteous, overbearing, and I don't know what the Hebrew equivalent to a Karen might be. A Pharisee, maybe. And maybe we'll just use that. You could end up being a Pharisee about it and thinking that you are educating people on the law when in fact you're causing more damage than you're going to be doing good. I had a brother who I was renting from, and he was a drug addict, on a couple of different things, and we used to party together back in the day. So like I knew some of what his hangups were, but I was renting from him, and I knew where my money was going. I was young in the truth at this point too. I was young. I was going through a lot of my own things at that point and trying to change my scenery a little bit. But I was being overly righteous with this brother. He wasn't in the truth. He wasn't trying to be, we'd have some talks and conversations about stuff, but he was very happy living how he was living. I'm paying him rent, and I know where my money's going. And I started, getting all worked up about it, like, Slacky, brother, I don't know if I can live here anymore because I know what you're doing with that money every time I give it to you. I know you're buying X, Y, and Z, and it's going up in smoke or it's going up in a tube, whatever it might be. And I don't feel comfortable, doing this anymore. So I think I got to leave. And now a whole fight breaks out. Like, you can be over righteous and become a stumbling block to your own people that you think that you're trying to help defend or protect or educate. And really, you're just being a douchebag. So that would go back to meditating on the law. To consider the different imaginations that you're being faced with, how to approach it, how to avoid it. There's some things that that you've got a lot more power over people, places, and things that you might think. You can change your scenery. You've got control over that. It might suck. It might take you. Maybe you got to catch, another bus, 3 buses instead of 2. Maybe it's going to tax on an extra hour of your commute time to work. But you're gonna be able to avoid a lot of the headaches that normally that would have come with that usual path, maybe. You know what? I didn't check. Let me see something. View on Twitch. Salaki, I wanted to check the Twitch stream real quick. Because if we had anybody on there asking questions, I didn't want you to be ignored or avoided. Salaki. All right, they're doing good. Okay. Oh, Salaki, just got to reload. I think we're good. So I just want to check that out before we head out. So casting down imaginations. Even though this precept is talking about more specifically how we approach combating the wickedness that we see out here. This definitely serves as a teaching lesson, scripture that you can apply to keeping the law and what to meditate on, because they're doing all types of wicked stuff, man, with the media, with the movies, with the shows for these kids. So many things. Listen, as an adult, and I'm sure a lot of y'all in the group chats can relate to this. As an adult, there were some kid movies that we thought were just kid family movies. Didn't look anything strange to us. Come to find out, some years later, people did a little background research on this stuff, got some of that behind the scenes information, and some of those metaphors and some of those scripts that we look back on, hindsight 2020, they were sick. They were sick, and they were just, and our parents were just throwing us in front of the TV, and it's like, that's not to say, anybody's mother or father was, a horrible parent because, you let us watch too much TV. Even just in general, while you're watching morning cartoons, eating your breakfast before school or something like that, you got the TV on. Movies, that we would watch, before going to sleep. Again, things that were advertised and presented as family friendly and kid safe. That years later we find out that they hid some really dark messages in a lot of those stories. Crazy work. Lion King, Little Mermaid, Wizard of Oz. Like, there's a lot of stuff that got unpacked. That we were so naive. I mean, we're kids. Of course, you can be a little naive, but definitely put us on edge as adults, having our own kids, what to watch out for. And they still use some of the same tactics where the music or the score, the soundtrack to the movies or to the shows or whatever they might be watching on the computer, the phone, the tablet. It sounds all well and good, but you had no idea just how dangerous the message is that they're sending our kids. So, that's another aspect of those of those imaginations. Casting down those imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God. They want to tell you about how nutritious some of this food is, how medicinal some of these plants are, which is the funny thing about weed. Everybody argues, for the most part, like 99% of the arguments that I've heard was about how medicinal weed is. So we got the letter of the law about, not defiling your temple. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and I'm paraphrasing, and it is in his lips is a burning flame. The other one about the brother smelling the branch. All these things that paint the visual picture of drug use. But the main argument to support it is how medicinal the medicinal properties of the plant, how beneficial it is that way, which it does carry, certain medicinal qualities. Here's the thing, though. Cocaine also contained medicinal properties, too. They were using that in the hospitals also. Before cocaine hit the streets, they were using that plant and its, some of its derivatives medicinally. Same thing with the poppy plant. And, before heroin, it was being used as a painkiller, as a sedative in hospitals. I don't know if it still took on that same form as heroin or if they did something different with it back then, and then it turned into the whole heroin thing. But, the main point to take away from that is that these plants do have medicinal properties. So does oregano. So does basil, cilantro. Those are herbs too. Those are plants. Ain't nobody rolling up cilantro unless it's in a burrito. They're being hypocrites because you don't get an effect from it. And now with it being legal everywhere, you're self-diagnosing. You're self-diagnosing with your drug dealer. You're self-diagnosing at the corner store. And it's all the facade is, it's a medicinal plant. You're talking with Habibi next door about, your lower back and the headaches and, which strain you should take. He's going to sell you whatever. Think he gives a shit about your headache? He's here to make money off of you. But you're self-diagnosing, relying on the corner store man or your drug dealer to give you the right prescription. Because somehow they're supposed to know what they're talking about. If they knew what they were talking about, they wouldn't have influenced you with drugs. They wouldn't have promoted that to you. But you're self-diagnosing, you're self-prescribing. When are you going to cure yourself? Weed is probably the only item in this nomenclature that I can think of where people just argue for the medicinal value and completely avoid, you just want to get high. Everybody knows that plant that turned into cocaine, that turned into crack, the people that use that, they're only doing it to get high. Ain't nobody talking about the medicinal value of crack cocaine. You know what it is. You're doing this to get high. You're doing it to get blitzed out your mind, run away from reality for a few hours, and crawl into a cave and die. You know you're doing it to get high, but everybody's going to argue the medicinal aspect of weed. And they're never going to cure themselves. I don't know a single man, woman, or child who, been on that stuff that after the headache was gone, they stopped smoking. Whether the headache came back or not. They're just going to smoke it because they want to get high. So analyzing all these imaginations, all this wicked stuff that these people are doing, meditating on the law, that's the spiritual side of this law. That's how you invoke the spirit into it. And that's how you apply it. That's how you can extract the wisdom of the law. So with that, just after 9 o'clock, I appreciate everybody who sat in with us. Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina, South Dakota, Slovakia, South Dakota. As we became Milwaukee, appreciate all 5,000 among the bar. May 31st is going to be the closing, or I'm sorry, the opening of the Feast of First Fruits. So get ready with all your menu item requests, and contact the schools near you if you need more information. If you need accommodations met, if you can't travel or get around, your car broke or something like that, let the school know. If you have any contributions that you'd like to make to it, you got a couple of dollars for the meal that you guys are going to throw down on, or even for some drinks, for some beers, for the waters, for the cups, whatever it might be. Contact the school near you to discuss any accommodations you need met, any contributions you may have to offer. UPK Milwaukee, Priest and also 5,000 among the bar. Shalom. Y'all by some outside. Rock a thumb to the brothers. Y'all smart out by some outside to the sisters. Until next time.